Donna can probably comment more definitively on that than I can, but we would hope that would start shortly. We think that there's probably a 9-month analysis done. Is that the right? Is that the right amount of time?
Approximately.
So, approximately 9 months of analysis. In parallel with that, we are meeting with the BDC and basically looking at what has turned out to be a document that has not dealt with all the anticipated issues that have come up, to sort of revise and formally clean up the master development agreement. 3, and I'm moving fast in the interest of sort of time, because I'm assuming that a lot of this is really going to be question and answer more than just presentation. And 3, clearly we're trying to look at how we resolve the long-term sewer plant issues. The sewer plant in Port Deposit has been in violation for a long time. Its capacity is limited in terms of trying to take care of Bainbridge, and we basically believe that the activities that are being undertaken at the county, at Seneca Point, have hopefully some potential application for Bainbridge. We are, I think, big believers in a regional system. We think that basically it is more economically viable. We think it basically doesn't make sense to have online capacity and to be bringing new capacity to the marketplace when you've got old capacity that's not being used. So we have not been a party, despite my words, to the current negotiations that are ongoing between Port Deposit and the county vis-a-vis the Seneca Point plant. I did clearly, however, for your benefit, want to make the point that we view Seneca Point as potentially a win for all of us on a variety of different levels. From our perspective, it represents EDUs that we could buy. From your perspective, we're a customer who can buy EDUs, and I think in our previous negotiations with MDE, we actually had guaranteed the purchase of certain numbers of EDUs from a plant had the plant been done in Port Deposit. So we remain a customer, and to the extent that we can give some economic viability to what your activity at Seneca Point would be, we want to let you know that we are a customer, and I think if we can put all of the pieces together, we in fact would guarantee takedowns at Seneca Point over time for the delivery at Bainbridge, which obviously means you've got then the transmission lines to deal with. There is potentially some earlier relief by utilizing the existing plant, but it's a kind of project that you take. There's so much work and capital that needs to go in initially that once you start it, you need to know that the capacity is there over the long haul. If this was 40 acres and we were building just somewhere on 222, you could say to yourself, okay, we're only going to build 100 houses, and we use the existing line and we'll run up 222. But if this is going to reach the capacity that we have talked about, that has been envisioned by BDC, by Port Deposit, by ourselves, we really need to know that over the long haul, water and sewer are available to see a full build out of the project. And it doesn't do us any good to sort of take the first step without knowing that steps 2, 3, and 4 are going to follow on, which is, I think, part of the reason we welcome the opportunity to give you an update, because we really welcome the opportunity to engage you in a dialogue about how we can work with you all and Port Deposit, obviously, to try to come together in a cooperative effort to make something happen. I don't know that you've ever seen some of my exchanges with BDC, but I almost think that we have worked in a world in other areas where these projects have all been sort of public-private partnerships. And from my perspective, and I think those of my team members, you know, this is almost a deal with clearly local private money from the investment group, the developer group. Clearly, Port Deposit is the municipality that we're in and will govern a lot of our activities. We're obviously housed in Cecil County for many of the services as well. And frankly, we clearly talk to the state because of the BRAC implications, the transportation implications, because of the governor's interest in smart growth. We really believe that this is a project in which sort of all of the parties, if they're all at the table, pulling in the same direction, pushing in the same direction, have the highest and greatest chance of success. We don't think that sort of any individual on its own can muscle it all the way through. We tried and we got a ton of money into it, and despite what I think is fairly substantial capacity, and if you're to the Inner Harbor East, you understand how much money has been invested. We can't push this thing through without sort of it being a public-private partnership. I should mention about Inner Harbor East,